Hello world. In this session, I'll be walking you through an implementation of a custom convolutional neural network on the fashion MNIST dataset. And the whole code is divided into the 8 phases as been mentioned over here. And for those of you who don't know what the fashion MNIST dataset is, it's actually a collection of images of dresses, coats, sandals, shirts, and there are 10 such categories, and the whole dataset contains of black and white images that are sized 28 across 28 pixels. So here is where we have imported all the libraries, and as you can see here, we've also loaded TensorBoard over here because we will be showcasing the final results of our model using TensorBoard. Loading the fashion MNIST dataset is actually pretty easy because it comes preloaded with the Keras library. So using these two simple statements, we can directly load the dataset. And after loading the dataset, what we've done here is we've divided xtrain and xtest by 255 to normalize the data actually. And why 255 is because the range of pixel lies from 0 to 255. So that's the reason why we've divided it from 255. Now moving ahead, we've viewed some of the sample images. As you can see here, like one image is of a shoe, and this I think is of a t-shirt, this is of a dress. And so using this particular code, you can view some sample images. Now one thing to note here is that we have, when we plot the shape of the xtrain datasets, so this means that there are 60,000 28 cross 28 two-dimensional arrays, which means that each of this image is 28 cross 28, and there are 60,000 of such images in our xtrain. And each of our image is 2D. So this particular when we print this xtrain 0 dot shape, this means that this 28 cross 28 is our first image, which is of this shoe. Now let us try printing the first row of the pixels of this particular image. We can do this using the following code, which is 0, xtrain of 0 0. Xtrain of 0 represents the first image, which we've already seen. Xtrain of 0 of 0 would represent the first row of this first image. So when we do this, we see that all these pixels are 0. That's because all these pixels are black. Now moving ahead, so what we need to do here is we need to add one extra dimension to our images, which here in this case would be only 1, because our image is a black and white image. If the image were a colorful image, then it would have been 3, corresponding to red, green and blue RGB. But as our image is only black and white, as our image is grayscale image, it will only contain 1. Now, so we've done some pre-processing to make the shape of our images from 28 cross 28 to 28 cross 28 cross 1. Here is we've printed the number of classes, which are basically 10. After that, here is our architecture, CNN architecture step, where we've defined the architecture of our convolutional neural network. And as you can see here, we've used 3 convolutional layers, and then we've used 2 dropout layers. For those of you who don't know what a dropout layer is, it's basically when you have an image. For example, let's take for example a dropout would be, this is your 100% of your image, and a 2% dropout would be like you cut 2% of this image and you make it black, or you make it of some other color, and this is totally random across all the images. And the reason why we use dropout is to avoid overfitting. So if you give your code the dropout value of, let's say, 20%, then what it'll do, it'll crop out that 20% of the image of each of the images from random places. So yeah, that is what dropout does. And as you can also see here, we've used softmax because this is a classification problem, and specifically a multi-class classification problem. So the last layer would contain a softmax, and what we can do is we've compiled the model, and then here in this step what we've done is we've visualized whatever convolutional neural network architecture that we created above, and this can be done using the plot model function. So here is how you would be able to see all the layers. For example, we had initially we had our input layer, then we had three convolutional layers. Then one more advantage of visualizing your architecture is you will be able to see the size of your arrays, the size of your tensors using by looking at the input and output attribute in this particular diagram. And finally, like this is our result. Finally, let us train the model and see what the results of our model look like. And I've already actually fitted this model because this model takes some time to run, and we ran it for 15 epochs, and the results are as follows. We'll actually it's very simple to visualize the results using TensorBoard. The only thing you need to do is you need to write this particular statement, and additionally in your fit statement you need to put callbacks equal to TensorBoard callbacks. So once you do these two things, you'll be able to get the results using TensorBoard, and we'll actually see the results using TensorBoard. So here you can see two things here. Okay, one is your accuracy, and one graph is for your accuracy, and the other graph is for your loss. And I think the blue lines are for your validation set, and the orange lines are for your train set. And here we can see that when this graph is plotted across epochs. On the x-axis you see epochs, and on the y-axis you see the accuracy value or the loss value in the below graph. Yeah. So if we see this particular blue line, right, this represents the accuracy of our validation set starting from the 0th epoch to the 14th epoch. So as you can see, initially it had a accuracy of around 90, and as the final accuracy that we got was around 89.88%. So I think we can safely say that our model was 90% accurate, and it will give like a 90% accurate predictions. Yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you.